Karen has shared the stage with some of comedy's biggest stars, including Jon Stewart, Ron White, and Joan Rivers. She is currently on tour with the Southern Fried Chicks and can be heard regularly on Sirius XM, Laugh USA, and Blue Collar Radio. A former All-American basketball player from UT Chattanooga, Karen Mills.
Thank you so much. We may have to work on the sound as we go here. We're getting a little bit of feedback, but hopefully everything's good. So, class of 1959. Yay! That was actually a great year. I was born that year, so. But it's good to see everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear okay in the back? Everybody okay? All right, great. Yes, I did play basketball at UTC, and first part of the county for Coach Jim Smitty. Remember him? Yeah. And then on to UTC, I played for Sharon Fanning. And when people find out I played college ball, the first thing they say is, "Yeah, but did you graduate?" Yes, and I don't appreciate what you're incinerating. I got a degree. Actually, I was a good student. You know, I graduated at Kuma Matata. No, I was a pretty good student. The only thing I really had trouble with was the whole poetry interpretation thing. I remember being in English class reading from Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, and the teacher saying, "Karen, what does that say to you?" That says to me that Walt got to hoe some bad weed. That is all that says to me. But I think I could have done better in school, but we used to go on road trips. All the other girls would be studying on the bus, and I'd sit up with the bus driver and tell jokes. So the only thing I retained from college, he taught me. And my favorite one was, Mama Snake told the baby snakes, "There'll be no hissing in the pit while I'm gone." If you want to hiss, you go Miss Potts' pit and hiss. So the snakes called over Miss Potts, or hissed in her pit. Miss Potts comes home, says, "What are you snakes doing hissing in my pit?" So, well, Mama said we couldn't hiss in the pit while she was gone. We want to hiss, come over here and hiss in your pit. She said, "You're not hissing in my pit. You want to hiss, you go and hiss in your own pit." So the snakes roll back home, they're hissing in our pit. Mama snake comes home and says, "What are you snakes doing hissing in the pit? I told you you couldn't hiss in the pit while I was gone. If you wanted to hiss, you were supposed to go to Miss Potts' pit and hiss." They said, "We went over to Miss Potts, we were hissing in her pit. Miss Potts came out and said we couldn't hiss in her pit. If we wanted to hiss, go and hiss in her own pit." Mama snake said, "Isn't that just like Miss Potts?" And I knew her when she didn't have a pit to hiss in. 4 years of college, right there. Okay, 5 years, whatever. So my great-grandmother, she lived to be 102 years old. And when I was my senior year in college, at that time she was in her 90s, and she had never seen me play. And so my mom brought her to one of my games, because before I graduated, she wanted to see me play. And what all my grandmother understood about basketball was that you try to get the ball in the basket. So when we came out for warm-ups, we did a drill where you just tapped the ball off the backboard one after another. And after we'd gone through the line a couple of times, my grandmother looked at my mom and said, "I'm afraid we don't have a chance." But not one of those girls people got near it. And then later in the game, I was called for walking, and she got so upset and said, "Why did they take the ball away from Karen and give it to the other team?" And Mom said, "Well, she walked." She said, "That poor little thing has played this entire game. I know she didn't feel like running." And she was right. I didn't feel like running. But now golf's my game. I bet we have some golfers here, don't we? Golfers? Yeah? No? I played last week. I was 4 over par. Then I went to the second hole. I am terrible at golf. But it was very humbling for me, because I thought because I did well at basketball, I could pick up some golf clubs and be a good golfer. And I quickly learned that that's not the case. Just because you're good at one sport does not necessarily mean you'll be good at another. I'm just sorry no one got to Michael Jordan to teach him that same lesson before he went off to play baseball. Because I saw Michael play down in Birmingham when he was with Barron. I went to a game one afternoon, and after the game was over, I walked over to him, and I was carrying a basketball. He said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't sign basketballs while I'm playing baseball." I said, "Oh, well, I'm going to ask you to sign it. I want to see if you can hit it." I didn't have quite such humor I thought we would. But now I've been a comedian for 20 years, and so I tour all over. And you know, I try really, really hard to stay in shape and to eat right and do all those healthy things I'm supposed to do. And I do great when I'm at home. But as soon as I hit the road, it is all out the window, and I become the fast food queen. And it's just like I can't stop myself. But the only good news about it is I always get new material. Not long ago, I was heading out of town, and I drove through Hardee's, and I ordered a jelly biscuit. And as I pulled away from the window, I thought, I better check my order. I looked in my bag, and there was no jelly. So I pulled back around to the window, and I said to the girl, I didn't get any jelly. And she pointed to a sign that said, "Condiments available upon request." I said, "Yeah, but it's a jelly biscuit." She said, "I know, but our manager is just very strict. He doesn't allow us to hand out any condiments that aren't requested at the window." I said, "Well, I can understand that if I ordered, you know, an egg biscuit and I also wanted jelly, I need to ask for it at the window." But jelly was part of the order. If I ordered a sausage and biscuit, I wouldn't have to ask for the sausage at the window. She said, "Sausage isn't a condiment." And what I hate most about that story is she thinks I'm the one that didn't get it. I feel certain that when I drove away, she said to her coworker, "That lady thought sausage was a condiment." And another time I stopped at McDonald's and ordered an egg and cheese biscuit, and the girl taking my order asked me, did I want my egg round or folded? Well, I'd never been asked that before, but I considered my options, and I said, "I'll go with round." She said, "We only have fold." And just recently, it was late, it was after one of my shows, I was heading back home, and I pulled up to Taco Bell, to the speaker there, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for someone to take my order, and nobody ever came, and finally I said, "Hello," and the voice goes, "Honey, you're just going to have to hang on for a minute, so we're changing our drawers." Well, I think I'll go somewhere else. But it's true, people always ask me, you know, why I got into comedy, and that's why funny follows me. It's everywhere I turn. The other day I saw half a mobile home going down the interstate. You know what that means? Divorce. You take the kitchen, I'll keep the bathroom. Now, and I was passing through Mississippi, I stopped to eat, I ordered a salad, and the waitress said, "What kind of dressing?" I said, "I want Caesar." And she said, "Oh no." She said, "Honey," so they come in these real easy to open packets. You won't need no Caesars." It happened. And then I ordered a large Coke, and she said, "We don't have large, we only have small and medium." Now, where I'm from, you need 3 sizes to have a medium. Just give me that bigger one. But funny things happen to me all the time. I was working down in St. Augustine, Florida, and a friend of mine going with me who also has short blonde hair. Girl walked over to us and said, "Are y'all related?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Are you sisters?" Where did I lose you? And the other day I'm sitting in the doctor's office waiting room. Lady strikes up a conversation with me and starts telling me about a trip she's getting ready to make to Washington. So I said, "Washington State or Washington, D.C.?" She said, I don't know. And then she continued to talk about her trip, and I'm thinking, she didn't understand the question. So again, I said to her, I'm sorry, did you say you were going to Washington State or to Washington, D.C.? She said, I don't know, wherever the president lives. And her vote counts just as much. Yes, it does. And you know, I'm on the interstate so much, sometimes I like to take back roads, and I was passing through Kentucky not long ago, and I kept seeing these farmers selling their vegetables on the side of the road. Well, these are hard-working people, and I buy fresh anytime I can, but I do have one rule. If you can't spell it, don't sell it. I passed one little man selling the very rare sweet potato. And as I was leaving Kentucky on Interstate 65 going into Indiana, right there's where the time zone changes. And I forgot to ask where my show was, if they were on Central Time or Eastern Time. Well, I had to run into Walmart anyway, so I just grabbed a woman in the store and I said, are you on Central Time or Eastern Time? She said, I don't work here. And the hits just keep on coming. And lately I've been seeing these billboards everywhere that say, we buy ugly houses. Have you seen those? I called them up and gave them my neighbor's address. And my neighbor is a trip now. When she cuts her grass, she wears one of those surgical masks, so she won't inhale any pollen. But then she stops for smoke breaks. I told her she'll just cut her little hole in her mask. And she got a new puppy, and she came over and said, Karen, I just got this little dog, and everyone's been telling me I should put him in one of those underground electric fences to keep the dog in. She goes, but how am I supposed to get out? So, well, I guess you'll have to take off your collar. But now, people are stupid. You can tell that by looking at a bar of Dial soap. They have an 800 number for you to call if you have any questions. People, if you can't figure out soap, a phone's going to mess you up bad. And can't you just hear the little lady answering the 800 number? Dial soap hotline. Yeah? Oh, no, that's no problem. Just pull those hairs off and that soap's still good. You call me back, there'll be more trouble with your soap. Oh, well, you guys are fun. This is great. It's a great event. I hear it's growing every year. That's fantastic. And it's really nice to be here. Y'all fun crowd. I love a fun group. I was born and raised in the South, like I said, from Bradley County, Cleveland. And even though I was born and raised here, I am not a Southern Belle. Unless, of course, I need to be. Like when I'm in the I poet, struggling with all that old heavy luggage. I can always find a nice strong man to carry my bags. People think I'm stupid. Think we're stupid in the South. We can work it when we need to. And it doesn't matter where I go, I always try to take with me my Southern hospitality. Even when I meet people from other countries, I'll try to say some word that I might know in their language. Heineken! Quesadilla. No MSG. But I do, I love the South, and you know, and everywhere I go, it's interesting that, I mean, all over the country, people know Chattanooga and comment about how beautiful it is. People who's been here lately, I mean, in the last 15 years or so. And of course, when I was at UTC, in 78, 81, downtown was not a place you wanted to hang out, that's for sure. So I am very proud of our beautiful city, and people always love to hear about Chattanooga and talk about how great it is. So, you know, like I said, I lived in Atlanta for 18 years. After college, I moved to Atlanta, and I moved back. I came downtown to do a benefit, and then after I saw all the renovations, I moved back 6 months later. So I love being here, and so I travel a lot, but I love making my home here. But lived in Atlanta for 18 years, and when I did move back, before I could move into a new house, I had to sell my old house. And I was having trouble selling the house. And tell me if you've heard of this. Someone told me that if I would bury a statue of St. Joseph in the front yard, the house would sell. Okay, I had not heard it, but I would try anything. So I got a statue of St. Joseph. I buried him in the front yard. Unbeknownst to me, the dog dug him up and buried him in the backyard. 2 days later, a lady knocked on my door and wanted to buy the dog house. And then I finally got moved in, and the first problem I had to deal with was I had this huge ant problem. So I called pest control guy to come out and said, I've got a zillion ants. He said, that's not a problem, because all we have to do is kill the queen, and the workers commit suicide. I said, and you know this because they leave little notes. Or they climb up on the roof while the fire ants try to talk them down. He said he killed the queen, but I know he didn't because I could still hear show tunes coming from the colony. And then I had a tree blocking my view, so I backed out of my driveway, so I called a guy to come and cut the tree. He cuts the tree, and I said, well, that's great, but what about the stump? Sorry, lady, all I do is cut the tree. You want the stump removed, you'll need to call a stump guy. I didn't know there was a stump guy, but I found one. He comes out and removes the stump, and now I have this giant hole in my yard. I said, well, aren't you going to fill in the hole? No, ma'am, I'm just a stump guy. You want the hole filled in, you'll need to call a landscaper. So I called a landscaper. I said, look, I'm on my way out of town. Just come in and make it look good. I get home, he's planting a tree. This is my life. It's just, but you know, because I travel so much, I use a lot of public restrooms. And now that I've gotten older, I have to carry with me antibacterial wipes so I can clean the seat, because I no longer have the thighs to hover. I wish they put one of those handicap bars on the back of the door. Give me something I can work with. And that whole thing about find a penny, pick it up, the older I get, the larger the denominations have to be. What's on the ground doesn't meet my insurance deductible. I can't risk it. You know, first I stopped picking up pennies, then dimes, then quarters. Now if it's not a bill, forget it. I think that's what they mean about going through the change. And that's what upsets me about all the changes they keep making to Barbie, but not the change that needs to be made. Barbie's in her 50s. I want to see menopause Barbie. With saggy breasts and chin hair. Pull her chin hair and her boobs pop up. And my belly can. Parting his hair over by his ear and combing it over. But everyone's trying to beat the aging process, and I'm no exception. The other day I went to a day spa, and they were using these all-natural anti-aging solutions. They put yogurt in my hair, avocado on my face, cucumbers on my eyes. I said, well, stick some corn chips up my tush and I'm a taco salad.
And I won't be eating tacos for a while. You like his tacos, don't you?
It's just not right what we go through. And now I'm starting to see more than just the physical signs of aging. You know, now I'm starting to see those other signs. Like when I'm driving, if I'm not sure where I'm going, I have to turn the radio down so I can see. A lady said to me the other day, just wait a few years, you have to put your glasses on to hear. And the other day I'm leaving the mall, I have my packages, I go to put my bags in the trunk. I can't get the key to work. I keep trying to force the key, it won't unlock the trunk. I can't figure out what is wrong with my key. Suddenly the car door opens, a man steps out and goes, what are you doing? I said, oh my. Well, I bought you a present. I mean, he had a red car, I have a red car. Of course, his is a Mercedes and mine's a Kia. Apparently, I can only distinguish colors now. But at least I'm not the only person losing her car in a parking lot. I kid you not, this past Christmas, I saw a woman get out of her car at a crowded mall. And she took a plunger with a pink scarf tied to it and she slapped it on top of her car. Introducing the new car finder right there. I've had people say to me, you know, that car finder, that's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, everybody gets one. Then you won't be able to find your plunder. But I'm seriously, no joke, starting to worry about myself. I mean, I'm not kidding. The other day I'm on my way out of town, true story. I pull up to the drive-thru of SunTrust Bank, and the teller goes, how may I help you? And I said, I need to pick up my prescription. And the second it came out of my mouth, I realized where I was. And I said, and I was wondering if you'd run down to Walgreens and get it for me. Let's just see how good your customer service is. I'm not kidding. I mean, I didn't start. About 10 years ago, I went to the nursing home to visit a friend of mine's mother. When I was sitting there talking to her, I knew she didn't recognize me. So finally I said to her, do you know who I am? And she said, no. She said, but if you'll go out there to that desk, I'll tell you who you are and what room you're supposed to be in. Back then I thought that was funny. Now I have days and I need to talk to the lady that day. I'm not kidding. If one day you see me going down Market Street with my bra on the outside of my shirt, you'll know it's a little scary. I mean, my memory is so bad, a conversation with me has become like a game of charades. The other day I was trying to think of this actor's name, and I said to my friend, oh, you know him, he has dark hair, he was in that movie. Oh, what was that movie? You know, he married, what's her name? He was on that show with those other girls, and they were in New York. I couldn't come up with anything. And then when it finally comes to me, it's like Tourette's. 3 days later, I'm standing in line at the grocery store. And out of nowhere, I go, Matthew Broderick. And I have literally been digging through my purse, looking for my cell phone while I was talking on it. And I don't know what I did with my phone. I can't have my phone. And the person on the other end is like, hello. But you know, I think it's because our brains are overloaded. There's just too much information, all the numbers and pins and passwords. And the gadgets are getting smaller and smaller. I was reading that in the future in Japan, they're going to have a phone that you implant into your hand. Hello. Hey, can you hang on a second? I have another call coming in. Hello. And I recently got a new smartphone. Oh, it is amazing what all that phone can do. I mean, I can't make it do it. I had to pay a 10-year-old $5 to show me how to answer it, but I hear it something. But you know, it's basically just a little mini computer, which is kind of like the good news and the bad news. The good news is everything's in your phone. Your contacts, your calendar, your whole life is in your phone. The bad news is your whole life is in your phone. So about 3 times a day I have phone panic. I'm like, where's my phone? Oh, I lost my phone. It's cool. All right, I'm good. Can you imagine 30 years ago going, where's my phone? Oh, okay, yeah, it's just hanging on the wall. Yeah, I found it. It's all good. And it seems everyone has a Bluetooth. I'm waiting for the elevator. Elevator door's open. Guy goes, hey. I said, hey. He goes, how you doing? I said, I'm good. He goes, I'm on the phone. I said, I am too.
Shows your mom.
You gotta think quick. But I found a way to really make that work for me, and being that I'm at a reunion, you might know what I'm talking about. Ran into a girl I went to high school with. She came running over to me, Karen. I said, Kathy, and she said, no. She said, I'm Sarah. I said, I'm on the phone. And whenever I'm talking to my mom on my cell phone, if I drop the call and I call her back, she's in a panic. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just lost my signal. And she's like, oh, Lord, that scared me to death. I was afraid somebody had knocked you in the head. She's always worried about that. Don't stop at a rest area at night, somebody will knock you in the head. You better lock your doors tight, somebody break in on you and knock you in the head. I'm surprised we don't hear more about that on the news. Last night, 15 people got knocked in the head. One was just talking on her cell phone. If you're not laughing at that, you're the one that says it. You know, it's kind of a double standard, though, because I tell her, I'm fine, stop worrying. If I called her for several hours and nobody answers, and I'm on the phone with my brother, what in the world's happening to Mom and Dad? They didn't say they were going anywhere. Where in the world could they be? Then we both take off down to their house, start looking for clues. In a little while, here they come. They've been to the funeral home. Ran into people they hadn't seen in a while, got to socialize. So, yeah, well, you need to let somebody know if you're going to be out late. I thought somebody had knocked you in the head. I told my mom I was doing that bit. I went through the whole thing for her, and she looked at me and then cracked a smile. She said, I don't see anything funny about getting knocked in the head. But not too long ago, I went on a cruise, and the whole time I was gone, she was on pins and needles, just worried sick because of pirates. I said, Mom, you know, the pirates were in Somalia. I'm going to be in the Caribbean. She said, that doesn't matter. There's copycats. So in case you didn't realize it, our biggest security issue is not Al-Qaeda, it's copycat pirates. But I know she worries because I do spend so much time on the road, and because of that I got a radar detector. Now, that's a handy device, because it lets you know the moment that you're caught. And if you have a driving record like mine, you'll do just about anything to avoid a ticket. Last time I was pulled over, the officer approached the window and I said, oh my, officer. Well, if I'd known you're so handsome, I'd have pulled you over. Of course, I would have to charge you with concealing a dangerous weapon. Hey, got me a date. In court.
Oh, really?
Those lady cops are tough. You know, cops, they always ask you that same stupid question. Do you know why I stopped you? So it won't be so windy when we talk. Think about it. Cop goes, can I see your license? I said, can I shoot your gun? He said, I clocked you going 80 miles an hour. I said, man, I hadn't even been out here an hour. You can use that if you want it. And what I do not understand are cops on bicycles. What do they do when they arrest someone? Okay, buddy, in the basket. But my car broke down not long ago. It's very interesting because the garage where they took it had a female mechanic. It was the first time anyone has ever explained to me what was wrong with my car in terms that I could understand. She said, well, first of all, your belts don't match your shoes. All your hoses have runs in them. And it's retaining fluid. But I don't believe it, my car's got PMS. No wonder it won't go, it's loaded. It needs to be held. I just popped the chocolate in the gas tank, straight right up. You know, since I do travel so much, you know, the last thing I want to do when I get home is clean the house. So I hired a housekeeper. But little did I know that getting ready for the housekeeper to come is as much work as cleaning the house. And now I'm on her schedule. The other day a friend called and said, you know, you want to go to lunch? And I said, I'd love to, but I got to get this house cleaned up for the housekeeper. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, I'm talking about Sheila don't play. If she shows up and these counters aren't cleared off, she'll let me go. I didn't even know I could be fired for somebody I hired. I use that term Mary Maid lightly. I ought to be sister of Mary Maid. That's what it is. I've been whacked more than once with that Swiffer. You're staying with me, aren't you? Good Catholic reference. But the worst part of being on the road so much is that I miss my dog. And when I get home, we're both so excited to see each other. And she pees on herself, too. Oh, but my dog is overweight, and it's so sad because she has got such a pretty face. But the vet yelled at me, said she was eating way too much, and I told the vet it's not about food. She was abandoned by her birth mother, separated from her siblings. She's got issues. Plus, she's big boned. But my friends call me the animal avenger because I'm always rescuing animals, and they don't even have to be cute. I help possums cross the road. Every time I see a herd of cattle, I yell, move to India. Now, I recently rescued a kitty, well, not recently, really, it's been over a year ago, rescued a kitty from the dumpster, brought him home, named him Sky. He was so cute and fluffy. But then after I had him for a little while, I changed his name to Ted Bundy. Do you have cats? Because he's a serial killer. He and the neighbor cat, John Wayne Gacy, they go on these killing sprees and then drag back these half-dead critters to my door, and I got to try and save them. I mean, do you know how hard it is to resuscitate them whole? Very traumatic. And now he's escalated because I actually have rescued a few, and I think it's upset him. So now he doesn't just kill them. he just rips their heart open, puts them on display. I mean, he's now Hannibal Lecter. It's Silence of the Moles in my house. I feel certain that somewhere in my basement, he's set up a little sewing machine. He's making him a mole suit out of it. And not long ago, I was down in Tallahassee, Florida, and I'd gone to the duck pond to feed the ducks. Well, here come a mama duck and all the little babies, and I'm trying to make sure they all get a bite. And out of nowhere comes this little girl and scatters the ducks. And the mother goes, Amy, don't chase the babies back in the water without their mama. So in a minute, here come the ducks again. I'm trying to feed them. Here comes Amy. Amy, I'm not going to tell you again. Don't chase the babies out of the water without their mama. 10 more times she told that child she wasn't going to tell it again. Finally, I walked over and said, Amy, unless you want to go in the water without your mama, stop it. Because my mama didn't tell me she wasn't going to tell me again and tell me 10 more times. If I didn't do what I was told, I got knocked in the head. You know, the only gang we had in my neighborhood when I was growing up was the mama gang. Their do-rags were floral with sponge curlers. They busted a polyester sag. And if you acted out, it didn't even have to be your own mama tearing you up. Any mama in the gang could bust you. And that's why I'm amazed today when I hear these reports that some kid was building a bomb in his parents' garage and they had no idea. If I'd been building a bomb in my parents' garage, not only would my mother have sniffed it out, she'd have stuck it up my rear end and lit it. And that would have put an end to the bomb building. That's how that works. I can't say much because I have no kids, but I do have a godson, and this year he started first grade. On the first day of school at 12 o'clock, he started packing up his stuff. And the teacher said, whoa, Lenny, what are you doing? He said, well, it's 12 o'clock, it's time to go home. I said, no. So that was last year when you were in kindergarten, you got to go home at 12 o'clock. But now that you're in the first grade, you have to stay all day. He said, well, who in the hell signed me up for this?